Hello everybody and welcome back to Broken Brian, and today I'm going to touch on a topic I don't really touch on, which is hardware and politics, and I don't touch on politics much because this article makes valid points, and what Nvidia and AMD are doing is they're trying to get as many parts, GPUs, chips, and things stockpiled so they don't have to raise the prices of the goods that they manufacture. And I understand that. Trump is predicting anywhere from 10% to all imported goods on tariffs and 40% for some areas, and I think China might be 60%. But here's the problem. And it's not the obvious one. We've pushed manufacturing out so far out of the United States that we're reliant on different areas for certain parts for certain things. Now, I've been in IT since basically I could think of it. I mean, I've been programming since the early 90s, and I mean, building PCs since then. I've been in IT. That's my career. That's what I do. And I'll tell you this. People forget it. People don't remember this, but what was it? 2011, when that flood wiped out part of Thailand, and you couldn't get a hard drive to save your life. Personally, now, like if I wanted to upgrade or do anything, some of the side work I do, like helping people upgrade their PCs and things like that, finding hard drives was darn near impossible. No one had them. But on the business side where I worked, we had a contract with Dell, and Dell had a stockpile of hard drives, so I could get hard drives for work relatively easy. But that wiped out hard drives. I mean, hard drives and portable hard drives and even some USB thumb drives for a long time. I mean, it was well over a year before stock started coming back up, and people forget about that, and I didn't. I mean, it was a nightmare because, I mean, yeah, I could get my high-end enterprise SAS drives, but my standard consumer level stuff, that was just hard to come by. And I remember at the end of 2011, maybe beginning of 2012, like there were just some people at work. I'm like, "Oh, your hard drive crashed. We're gonna have to buy a new computer. You can't just replace hard drive." I'd replace your hard drive if I could get one. I can't get one. Like Dell was like, got to the point where Dell was like, "Nope, unless it's enterprise level, they weren't replacing them because it was just they had limited stock, and they're trying to keep all the main infrastructure of servers on hand, so they were retrofitting some standard IDE to even run in the place where you should have a SAS drive, and it was just craziness. We had so much manufacturing of our hard drives in Thailand, majority like 90-something%, and that's why some people are like, I'm like, yeah, I've never been brand loyal to hard drives because honestly, there's 3 factories in Thailand, and you can't really tell which one Western Digital buys from versus Seagate or Maxtor or any of those other ones. I'm not sure Maxtor's still around. I mean, they're all manufactured the same, and so that's a problem. And most of our microchips are manufactured in Taiwan. And I believe some are in China, but I mean, we've pushed it out to these other places. So yes, this is going to be what I think is a growing pain for the U.S. It's going to upset a lot of people, and rightfully so. Cost of anything going up, yeah, that should upset you, period. That's totally reasonable. But if we can get manufacturing in the States where we can get stuff manufactured quickly and shipped to us, in the long run, it may work out better. Because, I mean, if we have another Taiwan is taken over, that's going to be a problem. I know there's tension in that area. I just not up on the specifics, but I mean, if China takes Taiwan, and that means China owns the microchip manufacturing, and do we want to get our chips from China? Do we want, I mean, what was that? Huawei? They had some issues where they were thinking they found some spyware on some of their hardware that was shipped to the U.S. and things like that. So, yeah, I mean, it comes down to it. Yeah, we might have video cards and other boards just going up in price. And yeah, I get it. I don't want it to happen, but I also don't want a freak natural disaster to take it out for the entire world. I mean, yeah. So it's one of those, it's a bad thing now, 100%. It's a bad thing that things are going to go up extensively. But if we had manufacturing elsewhere in the world, Australia, France, Canada, anywhere, Brazil, I mean, just anywhere other country, instead of relying on one or two countries to manufacture a product or a component that we rely on greatly, is not just better for the U.S., but it's better for the world. Because I'll never forget the hard drive shortage. It was just nuts. And some people are like, I don't get it. And I'm like, I do. And I try to explain, like, well, why is it all done there? Because they decided it's cheaper to manufacture over there than here. Well, if we manufacture it here, well, yeah, it takes some time, but you got to build the infrastructure, build the plants, train the people, do all that. It takes time. In the time, I think it may be better for us to have at least some. I'm not saying the U.S. should be 100% reliable on itself for everything. I think communication and trade with the entire world is great. I think it benefits others. It benefits us all that we get along and prosper as a race, as the human race. You know, it just, humanity prospers together. But being in the U.S., that's going to cause some issues. We're going to see black market stuff, I'm sure, with these tariff costs. I'm not advocating against them. I think the pressure to put manufacturing back in the States, I think manufacturing in just the localized areas is a bad thing. I mean, how many places can we get diamonds from? Not a lot. And I'm telling you, the prices on those things do not go down because they're controlled by a few people in a few areas. That's a bad thing. That's a natural resource, but this is a manufactured resource. So it'd be like, hey, if everyone made the hard drive shortage, that should have been the sign that we should have brought developed more manufacturing elsewhere in the world, whether it be here or somewhere else. And same with chips and things like that. Well, it's cheaper to do it that way. It's cheaper now. And this is the point where we kind of got to face the consequences of our decisions as a country and as an economy. We put all that cheaper out there, and now things are in danger and we don't have it here. So what do? Well, I don't know. I'm not an economist. I'm not a politician. I'm just a dude that works on computers and networks and games and has fun. I'm just a dude. I'm not an expert on this type of stuff, but what I see is the effects that it has on the real world. And we got to decide what to do. I think this is a point where, okay, some countries may see what we're doing and be like, oh, and may notice this. Hey, you're right. Taiwan has most of the chip manufacturing. Thailand has most of the hard drive manufacturing. We should probably do some of it here too, just in case. That's what we should do. I'm not saying any one country should next become the world supplier of any one component for computers. I'm saying multiple countries should start becoming suppliers for parts for computers. I mean, it's just not confining. It's like, oh, we got it all refined down to this. Oops, problem happened. Now we're in trouble. Which in the IT world is, if you ask someone in IT, he's been in IT for a few years, what do you think of that? There's no backup. There's no backup of the backup. There's no redundancy whatsoever. This is a bad plan. I mean, I spent years developing backup plans. I mean, vital systems and vital data was backed up in 3 locations for where I worked. 3 locations. And this was before cloud sharing. This is before the cloud. So I had physical backups in 3 different locations. And we weren't a big business. But all our data was securely backed up and updated every month in 3 separate physical locations. That I could, within 20 minutes, get to the first one. Within an hour, get to the second one. And the third one was right there on hand just in case. That's IT backup in a nutshell. That's just, hey, this goes out. What do? We've got spare parts here, 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 and here. Great. We lose our data. Where is it? We got a backup here, 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 and here. We need some more chips. Where do we got it? Here. Ooh. Bad call. Bad call. We didn't learn our lesson in 2011, and here it is, 2024, 13 years later, and yeah, we got some problems coming. And it's not specific. This is because of tariff issues, but tsunami takes out Taiwan. We're in the exact same situation. We are. With no tariffs, and if 2 years ago tsunami took out Taiwan, we're in that situation that we're preparing for now, but that would have been unprepared for 2 years ago. So now it's just, yes, Nvidia and AMD are trying to pull in all these things, but the problem is it's a temporary solution. We need manufacturing across the globe for vital components of computers and infrastructure. We just do. That's just a standard backup IT thing, and I don't know how it got to this. I know it comes down to the money. It does. It always comes down to the money. And because I always joke, I was like, yeah, we can do whatever you want. You just got to give me access to that checkbook. Can we do this? Absolutely, we can do that. This is what it costs. Ooh, yeah. I was like, most IT professionals can get, like, you can ask them, can we do that? Yeah, sure we can. But you don't want to pay the price. And this is what they did. We did this because they didn't want to pay the price. Now we're paying a bigger, different price. And this is just kind of how it is. I mean, are we going to feel the crunch? Yeah. Can we relieve the crunch? Yeah. But it's up to manufacturers in other countries to resolve this issue. Like, if the States did it, that's great. If Canada does it, Mexico does it, France does it, Brazil does it, Argentina, Australia, New Zealand, whoever. Start more chip manufacturing, GPU manufacturing, and all that in different places. We're going to be better off. We may not see drastic price reduction, but we will never be faced with skyrocketing prices and global shortages. I mean, come on, what was it? Yeah, in 2020, how many shortages do we have because of clogged up? I mean, we don't think about it. And yes, backups and processing takes time and money to have these things made. Yes, backup plans are costly. But problems without backup plans are even more costly. And that's what this is. This was a bad backup plan, and we're going to pay it for it. Hey, I mean, it is what it is. If Trump does enact these tariffs, yeah, we're going to feel the crunch. Tsunami takes out Taiwan, we're going to feel the crunch. That's just my thought. It's just one of those that's like, yeah, this is coming. But we've had decades to prepare and decades to prevent something like this from ever happening. But we did nothing. No country did anything. Like, oh, why should we do it? It's much cheaper just to farm it out to this factory over here and this factory over here. We save a lot of money. Ooh, now things are going to be a problem. Oh, yeah. I know backup and redundancy is not a fun topic, but it's one when it comes to technology that you got to keep at the forefront of your mind when it comes to data and components. It's just, what's your backup plan? What's your backup plan? And Nvidia and AMD don't have a backup plan, so they're getting all they can. And I don't blame them. They should. Absolutely 100%. They should get as much as they can as fast as they can. But the problem is that's a Band-Aid. Not stitches. So we'll have to see how this crunch levels out, but let's be honest. We're going to feel the pinch in our pocketbooks. So, got a little extra Christmas money this year. Splurge and buy a really good graphics card now. Do it now. That way, when you're ready to build later this year, you're in good shape. That's my advice for you. That's my 2 cents on the topic. And always remember to save, back up, and store in a fireproof safe. I'm telling you. Backups are worth it. One day you won't have it, and man, you'll be mad. You can't always recover from everything, but you can prevent the loss of a majority of it. So, just keep that in mind. Always have a backup plan when it comes to your technology. 100%. Because technology is technology. You may not need that backup plan now, but you will need it later. I promise you that. That's how technology works. If over 2 decades, nearly 3 decades now. I guess if you start me from programming, yeah, over 3 decades in computers and in IT and in programming, yeah, you will need that backup plan. You may not need it today, but you will need it. I promise you that. 100%. Like, oh, nothing bad will ever happen. You don't say that in IT. I swear. I've kicked people out of my server rooms for saying negative things. Do not say bad things around the server. It's bad juju. Don't say anything negative. We are nice to the servers and we keep them happy because I have a backup plan, but I don't want to use my backup plan. And so here we are. Ta-da! And I mean, this is just one of those things that we're just going to feel it, and I'm not happy about it, but I'm preparing. I am buying components this weekend just to have on hand. Maybe a few extra to make a little scratch on eBay later this year. I'm not a scalper, but I'm just saying, if you want to make a little extra money, get the cheap video cards now. You might make some serious cash later. Anyways, I'm just being goofy. Kids have left, so I'm a little down and a little goofy. So, have a good holiday season and have a safe new year, everyone. And I'll see you next time And as always, I love you all, and there's nothing you can do about it.